If you're like most people, when you hear the word genre, you probably think of media genres. Movie genres, music genres, or literary genres, for example. But all communication has genres. Genres are typical conventions in communication. In other words, it's what a specific audience expects from a piece of communication based on what they've seen before. These expectations include both content features, what the thing says and how it says it, and structural features, what it looks like and how it functions. Genres are based on communities of practice. These are groups of people trying to do some kind of thing together. For example, biology as a discipline is a group of people trying to study life, and they have expected genres in that study. Any group of people with a specific goal has genres of communication. You have genres in your major, but you also have genres associated with your future job. You might have genres related to clubs you're in, sports that you play, games that you enjoy, and so on. Many groups of communication have both meta-genres and sub-genres. Meta-genres are big groups of communication that have some features in common, but in general don't look that similar. Sub-genres are smaller groups of communication that have a lot of features in common. Let's take a look at one very common genre many people are familiar with as an example: fairy tales. Fairy tales have content features you might expect, like the phrase once upon a time, the fact that they use magic, that they usually revolve around royalty, and that they usually have happy endings. Fairy tales also have structural features in common, such as illustrations, large print, short paragraphs, and so on. Here, the meta-genre is maybe something like folk tales. This might include things like Aesop's fables, or the darker original Grimm stories that many fairy tales are based on. Folk tales have many things in common, but they have very different audiences and different expectations. Subgenres might include more recent adaptations, like Little Red Riding Rabbit with Bugs Bunny in 1944, or Disney's The Little Mermaid from 1989 and the recent adaptation in 2023. If we're thinking about writing for school, you might hear research paper used as a genre, but actually research paper is a meta-genre, like folk tales. There isn't just one kind of genre for representing research, but instead hundreds of different ways that research manifests itself in writing, in video, and in other formats. One example of a subgenre of research is what's called an IMRAD paper, which is commonly used across many sciences. The form is an introduction, methods, results, and discussion. Even though IMRAD is a subgenre of research, it's also a common meta-genre because it looks different in many different fields. And it doesn't share very much in common with other fields outside of sciences. For example, in English and history, it would look very strange to format a paper in the IMRAD style. IMRAD is a genre expectation for a different group of people than people in English or history. It's important to understand the genre conventions of any piece of writing you do. Take a look at other similar forms that are trying to reach a similar audience and see if you can guess their conventions. You'll find genre conventions in almost all communications, such as posts on TikTok, emails for your job, YouTube reaction videos, lab reports in chemistry, and so on and so on and so on. All communities have genres and have genre expectations. It's important to try to understand those genre expectations so you can respond to them appropriately.